Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Oh, okay. The microphone unmuted itself this time automatically like it's supposed to. All right. I'm Dan Hollifield. Welcome to Last Man Standing. If you missed Stupid O'Clock tonight, it was so animated. We got cease and desist from Disney, Warner Brothers, and Walter Lantz Studios. So the only thing we're missing is the Fleischer Brothers. And I don't know how we can top that one, but we're certainly going to take a moment and decompress and be a little bit more relaxed. And with me tonight to that end is Joe Bachman and Donna. And if I can scroll down fast enough, we got Rich. We may have Dawn joining us once she gets through with her household chores. So, okay, it's like Keisha going out to feed the chickens or put them in their shed and pet the coyotes and, say hello to the Sasquatch or whatever she does on a nightly basis. Um, Anybody want to take over from here?
We're just watching you go on.
That was an adventure.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I'm glad that I got a chance to get as many people as possible to plug their stuff right there at the tail end. It meant that we started a couple of minutes late, but who's going to notice? I mean, seriously, all 15 subscribers are happy with this thing. So, oh, it didn't say like, share, and subscribe on Stupid O'Clock. Well, I'll say it right now: is like, share, and subscribe on Last Man Standing. It doesn't really matter because if we get monetized, I'm not going to go for it because I don't want commercials in the middle of my show. So there.
I don't think you have anything to worry about.
I'm not worried about monetization. One, the stuff I spout, I don't think I'm going to get the thousands of hours worth of views a year that is going to require for me to get anything like that. And I like to be able to say what I want when I want. I don't want to go, all right, it is 7 seconds. I can now start cursing.
Really? I'm going to have to set a stopwatch. Oh, no. Fuck that shit.
With a rusty chainsaw.
Yeah, really.
Oh, y'all are really into some kink.
No, not really. Have you seen our browser histories? We are writers.
Yeah.
I've already been investigated by so many alphabet agencies. I'm going to have to use a different alphabet. I mean, they were running out of letters.
They've gone through the English alphabet. They've picked up the German, French, and Greek letters, and they're about ready to start on the Cyrillic.
I think they're headed deeply into Sanskrit here. So who knows? I mean, I don't even know how Sanskrit alphabets work. I just know it's a thing. Then again, oh, shut up. I'm not schizophrenic, okay?
And neither am I.
I like the voices in my head. Oh.
They tell me interesting stories.
You're just jealous because the voices in my head don't talk to you.
You don't want the voices in my head to come out.
Sure we do. That's why we have Friday nights in Green Room.
If y'all have read anything that I've written, you've seen the voices in my head.
I have 2 text messages.
Yeah.
I did want to mention that I was on. I was watching Art Time with Nick the other day, and he did a secondary sketch that was prompted by a suggestion I made, and Dawn was there, and I said, "Hey, I might be able to do something with this." Dawn suggested that I go ahead and write a story, and I did. It's under 600 words. I posted on Facebook asking people to suggest titles because I could not come up with a title that did not blow the entire story so that it would bring the reveal too soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I printed out a copy of it, let my wife read it. She got down to the 3rd paragraph and her face lit up because she got all the references. I mean, this is one of those things where I do the usual Marinibrium drop references everywhere, and I did it in less than 600 words, which is kind of weird for me because it usually takes about 2,000, 3,000 for me to get that deep into the in-jokes and the fan service and things like that. But I think it's pretty good. I am waiting for Nick to send me a copy of the actual picture so I can paste it into the little vignette and put it up on Aphelion next week. I've got an entire week to do a whole issue of Aphelion. Okay. Hey, usually takes about 5 days. So
I'm super excited. Here's my old planner.
Yes.
And I found my new planner today.
Oh, it's the same planner.
You have no life when you're excited that you got your new planner.
No comment.
Yeah. They are, well, they're the same. This is through June 2023, and this is July 2023 to June 2024.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go. I don't have January to.
That's okay. My life.
But
has
I'm
no
excited.
My planner.
My
And if you
brain.
guys if you guys thought that I was joking, here's the year before. They're yeah. I
My
like them
planner
because
going back to 2007.
Oh Lord.
what I like about these is they have thicker pages to them.
And I thought I was getting overly excited about cookbooks last Friday.
You know what? Life is too short, and there's too much craptastic stuff happening to not get
Okay.
excited about the little things.
I was gonna say,
I read that just as I was going to say get excited about the little things, really, Rich.
Well, you were talking about thickness and short.
and then how little?
Pervert.
Provert.
This is probably the wrong time to mention that my one of my aunts read the post about me being excited about buying cookbooks and go, I've got 60, 70 years worth of cookbooks, and I thought nobody'd be interested in them because everybody uses the internet nowadays. And I'm going, Aunt Mary, I'm not that good. My sister's the one that learned that Mama taught how to cook. I'm having to pick this up on my own, just with what I remember from everybody in my family. And once upon a time, it was a quite large family, and now it is greatly reduced in number, sadly. Those heroes will not arise again, I'll tell you. Maybe that's why I write so many damn immortal characters. I'm tired of everybody I know passing away. You know you've reached that particular time in your life. Oh, hey, Ace.
Something I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, really.
So Dawn. Joe and I are the only like non-D names, although technically Rich can be, transferred over to Dick, which means Joe would be the only non-D name. But anyways, going back to your provert statement. I'm glad I wasn't drinking when you said that, because that's one of the things that we shoot around our house is when we start getting off color and stuff like that. Misty or I will look at each other and, call each other a pervert or something like that. And I'll be like, no, provert.
I had no clue that happened in your home. That's funny, though.
So I'm glad somebody else goes there besides my wife and I.
Well, and if you were
Not the green room.
if you were Robert Aspirin fans, one of the other responses would be prevert. And
That's if you haven't been trained well enough.
Nip it in the bud, Rich. No. If you're not familiar with Robert Asprin's myth series, it's awesome if you enjoy humor. If you don't
and
enjoy
lots
humor,
of puns.
oh yeah, well I count that as
Lots
humor.
of puns.
Oh,
Who is this?
Robert
Robert
Aspirin.
Aspirin.
Robert Aspirin,
Like the pill to
like the
stave
painkiller.
off heart disease.
Okay.
The only Robert Aspirin stories I've encountered have always been involved with Thieves' World. One of these days, I'm going to branch out on more of his stuff. But of course, my favorite Thieves' World author is Andrew Offutt.
Oh, hello again, Michaela. I mean, seriously, haven't you been glued to the link? You can join us.
No, we have the complete myth series.
I've even got a set of the graphic novels that go along with the paperbacks. Not very many of them because they're hard to find. But I think Phil Folio does the artwork, and that was amazing. And they're portfolios are doing what is it? Girl Genius, which is a very steampunk sort of comic book, and I love that. But somewhere in the middle of the pandemic, I got out of the habit of clicking the daily updates. No, it was because I had a computer die and I was having to use the iPad as my main computer. Then when I got another computer, I had fallen out of the habit of trying to find the daily updates for their strips. So they've done 2 or 3 books since.
When they stalled out for a couple months in Girl Genius, I stopped looking back. I really enjoyed the story on that. It was really interesting.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. It's well worth anyone's time and money to check out.
And the artwork is delightful as well.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And of course, my favorite character is the cat.
Yeah, I can believe that because I've seen your cat. Barry is an amazing individual.
Barry's not right in the head. But
I think I covered that. Yeah.
What would you expect? He's your cat.
He's a cat.
Exactly.
Oh. Well, Michaela, let me see if I can. Yeah, I can do that. About to head to bed. Everything ready to upload for takeover in the Wild Deadwood Reads group. Got the cover fit to Warrior's Secret. Tomorrow she has to get others ready. And there's always the day job. You know, you think you got it sussed, and then the world gets in the way and you got to go back to work. I'm hoping that don't happen to me when I retire, but I've emailed the human resources and payroll at work today and told them, look, this is what I plan. We need to fill out the payroll paperwork to get me out of the system at the week that my final paycheck will drop in 2024. If my job is going to continue after I leave it, we're going to have to put the job up for bids and give me some time to train somebody. And the stuff that I have done that is not obvious to everyone probably needs to be saved to the company network so that it is accessible by the engineers and everybody else that's found it useful over the years.
Tell them to start over.
Hmm?
Tell them to start over.
After what amounts to a decade and a half of my work? Nope. I'm well in favor of making everybody else's job easier. They can pick and choose like a salad bar, but I've done an incredible amount of work on things that they have already proven to make engineers' job easier, scheduling jobs easier, shipping and receiving jobs easier. And I'm going, I'm not going to be here to do this. So this is how I did it by Victor von Frankenstein. No, not quite. But I have created a monster and I'm going to turn it loose on the company, which is not a threat. It's a responsibility.
So I had a last minute training sprung on me today.
Oh dear.
Unfortunately, the trainer that was supposed to handle it, there was an issue with her father in a facility. So she had to rush out to take care of that. So I had less than half an hour to prepare. And I'm like, which department are they with? Because that kind of matters. So for those that aren't familiar, I'm a technical trainer for a law firm. So we've got many different practice areas, and people from different areas do things differently. So there's things that I don't have to talk to a litigation paralegal about that I have to talk to a real estate paralegal about.
Mm-hmm.
So that was sprung on me last minute. So I'm like, hemming and hawing through the entire thing. A lot of it is just autopilot. So when I'm talking about our metadata scrubbing utility, I break into a fun fact about BTK, a serial killer who was caught because of his metadata. Basically, he sent a disc to the police trying to be all Jack the Ripper with a Word document on it and didn't scrub his metadata. So they were able to look the metadata and see who owned the copy of Word the document was created on and tracked it back to him that way. And I explained I watch a lot of true crime, but it's not because I'm trying to figure out how to off my wife. I don't think I'm smarter than the cops. That's not it at all. But because of the weird stuff I write, I need to know, okay, in 1983, did the technology exist so that they can figure out from this tuft of hair that Mr. Johnson's the werewolf? Yes, I'm broken. So I actually...
No, you are one of the acknowledged go-to guys about lycanthropy and such.
Kinda. But it was funny because as I'm explaining that, she's the student was like, "Oh, you're right. Is there a link to any of your stuff?" So I actually sent her a link to Indie CD for other stuff, and I sent her a link to the short stories of mine that were podcast years ago on Every Photo Tells, which are the ones that I'm working on for volume 1 of Things That Go Bump in the Light.
I'll have to set some money aside to buy that when it comes out. Believe me, I will want it.
You are not going to have to buy it. You're getting an autographed copy.
Hey,
sorry. I insist. I don't. I do want autograph, but I want to support Aphelion writers, and you are one.
That was not directed to any of you guys. That was directed to Buddy, using our bed as a scratching post.
Well, better a scratching post than a litter box.
True.
Well, this is true. This is true.
I had to steam clean the rug this morning in the hall because Barry... Yeah, you can hear that F you through the wall, can't you, kitty? Decided to not use his litter box and use the middle of the hallway this morning, and I found it the hard way.
Ooh.
Or rather, the soft way.
Depending on when he found it, yes.
Well, no, luckily it wasn't a Kitty Crispy, but it was, walking down the hallway,
puddle.
Barefoot, and all of a sudden it's like, the carpet's not supposed to be cold and squishy here. You son of a...
Aren't you glad you weren't wearing socks?
To give Buddy fairness, he did have a vet appointment today, so he's been a little salty all day. He had a weepy eye, so we had to get that looked at. So he's been a little salty today.
This happened. Last night, Lindsay and I had a way late night last night because of all the celebrity deaths that she had gotten heartfelt connections with, and was really mourning the loss of these entertainers. Harry Belafonte, Dame Edna, a couple more. She stayed up way past her usual bedtime and was watching stuff that would cheer her up, which was Cliff Richard and the Shadows, for the most part. She might have dipped into Donny Osmond. I don't know. I had myself occupied with something else at the time, but she was in the mood to be affectionate. The dog took offense at us being affectionate, And I'm standing there with my wife on one arm and the dog on the other, going, "Hey, dog, get down, honey, don't get down." Um, and we woke up in the middle of the night. We had gone to sleep holding hands in the bed, which, we have this need to touch each other while we sleep. Just, holding hands is perfectly acceptable adult behavior for prime time. And the dog decided that she was jealous as all get out. Gave me the saddest look that I was with that woman and promptly got between us on the pillows and stretched out to try and push us apart. I'm going, dog, this is my wife. You are the dog. There's a distinct species difference here. And there's nothing for you to be jealous about. But evidently the dog did not realize this and was not very happy that we were having non-conjugal contact. Probably wouldn't be happy about conjugal contact either, but that is not. We do have a door that shuts, so that's not been an item to be checked off of a bucket list. Try and get it done before the dog shows up. These things are one of those. They're points of life that exist and are not usually discussed in polite company, but hey, I'm not that polite. And actually, you can add that to a story as character development, as long as you've got a jealous dog as one of the characters. I can't tell. The dog seems to absolutely adore me and obey me more readily. But when when my wife comes in and tells me something and then leaves, the dog follows her. I mean, dog follows her as if she were God herself. And quite rightly so. I kind of follow that belief myself, but it does make life interesting, complicated, and quite humorous.
Joe is just so studying so seriously up there.
He's trying to get stuff done for NDCD. I know exactly what he's doing when he's got that expression on his face.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Yeah.
I do want to thank Joe for using my music as the background for Burning His Love, because he plays stuff on there that I've done and gives it exposure to people that would not normally know that it's out there. And I just sit there and I watch it, and I'm watching his artwork progress, and I'm going, ooh, I wish I had had better recording equipment back in the 90s, but nobody had invented better recording equipment back in the 90s.
It sounds good to me while I'm listening to it burning wood. So
Hey,
Sounds
well,
good on this side.
that's because you got it really quiet. You can't hear all the artifacts in the recording.
It's quiet on your guys' end. It's still fairly loud through my headphones. Because I actually turned my headphones up for that so I can listen to it.
Well, and the live stuff that you were going through for this most recent show, I composed two of the pieces of music. One of them you did play at the beginning. The other one, the show ended before you played it. The rest of them were composed by the guitar player, Jim Parnell. The drummer, Richard, the reason he is not credited with a last name is because it was just that one night, and I never caught his last name to write it down.
I kind of wondered about that when I was looking at the album cover.
Yeah, well, the thing is, he was a guy. He was a guy that was like a session musician for lots and lots of different bands in Athens during the time of the B-52s, REM, and Love Tractor and Pylon and stuff like that. So he played with a lot of different bands, and he basically Jim brought him in, going, "Hey, this is a pro, so we're going to jam with him tonight. Make sure you got all the recording stuff set up." So I did, and I'm standing there. I'm playing bass guitar and working the mixing board at the same time, which is not conducive to a good recording session. Usually, when I was doing live stuff, one of my neighbors would come over, a young lady that we played D&D together. So and she got used to using my stereo as the mixing console for all the recording studio stuff that I had set up in my apartment at the time. I chose the best parts of the recordings, which is why some of the songs started abruptly and then seemed to repeat way too many times because Richard was getting used to what Jim and I were doing. And Jim and I were already telepathic. We developed that. He could introduce a chord change, and I would jump to it right then, almost simultaneously. We had worked together that often, that much, because we got together week after week after week and did the same basic set. And that's the thing that came out on that particular album was our set. And for Let's Get Acquainted, the first song, Jim was still trying to tune his guitar. And Richard started playing. I mean, you can't ignore drums going off right next to you.
Yep.
And I just started jamming along with him. And then Jim came in, and it turned into something that we had never done before. It was all a live jam, and then we went through the set of Jim stuff that he and I usually play together, and Richard was catching up on, and was impressively didn't take more than about 3 repeats before he had it down. And we'd never had a drummer before. We didn't even use a drum machine. So this is the first time we had a third for the trio, which was really neat. And then for the tail end, Lay It on the Line was something that Jim and I had worked out, and it was basically he was following my lead for a change. And Richard didn't quite catch the normal speed that we played it at, and he was much faster. So I had to tailor it up to his speed. And then Jim went, I can do that, and tailored it up. So it was one of the best recordings of that particular piece that has ever been. And then at the very end, when we're trying to go, okay, it's time to call it a night, we kind of quietened it down, but I still had all the special effects pedals that were hooked up to my bass still going. So that's where all the synth stuff that sounds like is coming in. It's not a synth. It's my stomp boxes going, oh, feedback, love it. Let's do something with this. I'm not trying to play. Don't care. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Now, the second half of that album is me and another guitar player just having a afternoon jam session using headphones instead of speakers so the neighbors didn't call the cops. That went really well, and I'm glad that I had it recorded. But there's some classic stuff in there. I still got like 3 more albums worth of live stuff with the other garage bands that I have not processed to release yet. I really should do that. I think there's only 3 of us left alive because it's been since the 90s, and I really don't know how to do contracts or anything with. I can't get in touch with them. They might as well be on the far side of the moon as far as I'm concerned. I can't find them. I've tried. Got in touch with that one guitar player one time, and then he vanished off the face of the earth. But I'm going, hey, we did some good stuff. There's no reason the world should be deprived of this garage band garbage. So that will be released one of these days. And here I'm just pulling a Ryan and taking over the entire thing.
Oh, it is your show. I mean, you're allowed.
I was probably going to say, yeah.
I just get so enthusiastic talking about my own stuff.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And I love playing your music on there. Like, you know, sometimes I'll go through and I'll just go, you know, track by track by track, and then other times I'm just hopping back and forth between the albums and going, we're going to play track 7 this time off of this album.
Hey, and that's fine. That's fine. And it's nice to see you're getting so involved in the artwork, you don't notice when the track repeats.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going to myself, that's not a bad thing. That means he's in the flow, and his artwork is turning out just the way he wants it. Mm-hmm. So, go for it.
And even as a listener and a watcher, as a voyeur and a listener, I don't even realize when it's starting to repeat.
Well, I might be the only one because I know when everything starts and stops on those records. So,
but I'm just saying, I'm not going. I think I've heard this bar before. I think I've heard this bar now 2 or 3 times. It doesn't even faze me.
Well, and it's for the stuff that isn't live, the stuff that I do in the computer. It's actually the way that I mix things to make sure all the levels are right. This instrument doesn't overpower this instrument and this part and this part. So it's on an infinite loop while I'm listening to it. And thank God I've got headphones on. Otherwise, before I started using headphones, it was driving my wife crazy. But she does like the fact that I do this music, and she enjoys what she's heard of it. But I was really glad when I realized I could just plug in a set of headphones here and eliminate the letting the neighbors in the next 6 counties know what I'm doing, because you know, if it's not loud, it's not rock and roll.
Okay, so did you guys get a good laugh over what happened to me Monday night? If you haven't heard.
Tell us.
That's not really something to laugh at. We've all done it, I bet.
Oh, it was painful. It was hurting. I have a lidocaine patch on my back yet, but I mean, how do you?
Man.
It was. Yeah.
It's easy enough. Says someone. I have fallen out of a waterbed twice.
And I was thinking when you brought up about
over the side, falling out of a regular bed would be easy peasy.
Yeah, I was all of a sudden I was like, I'm on the floor. My head's in a weird angle. I'm half under the bed. I can't move. And I hear one of the cats.
Hopefully not under you.
No, I still don't know which one it was. And we were like, well, maybe she jumped up on the bed and startled me and I jumped. And it just, it's hard to say. But one of the coolest things, I'm going to read this because I thought this was pretty cool, that one of my friends that lives here in town goes, oh no, only you can describe this like you do. That makes me laugh and feel bad for you at the same time. Take care of yourself. You definitely have a way with words. I mean that as a compliment. That's one of the coolest things that anybody's ever said to me, especially hanging out with the group that I've been with lately, you guys. To have, she's not a writer, but to have her say that, I was like, that made me feel really good.
Now, unlike Richie, I have the talent to fall upstairs.
Oh, I've done that.
Oh, I can fall upstairs too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you hurt yourself. Well, not extremely badly, but enough to make me worry about you falling down the stairs. What was it? 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago?
A couple weeks ago, yeah. Something about a sudden decrease of elevation of about 15 feet and a sudden change in pitch of 45 degrees. And I was like, I was not like this a moment ago. What happened?
I'm not laughing at what you're saying. I'm laughing because
The way you're saying it.
You tell it well.
How did I end up on the floor?
It's a talent of mine. Misty feels bad all the time because I will relate the horrors that I get myself into as far as physicality. And she's like, will you stop it? I'm trying to feel bad for you. You're making me laugh. I'm like, I've got to make people laugh about it or it's just going to hurt more.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to get my dopamine fix out of making people laugh and smile at my misfortune.
Sort of like what was it? 2 weeks ago, last week, when I slightly overindulged in the adult beverages. And by slightly, I mean I probably had an amount that would have made Andre the Giant go, hey, dude, that's enough. That's enough.
Considering the next night, every time we brought something up, he went, I don't remember that.
I don't.
And you're just lucky that considering the sense of humor that your friends have, that we didn't come up with some really weird shit.
And I would have to take your word for it because I have absolutely no memory. Which, I don't usually go to that extreme unless I'm at a convention. Shut up, Dan. Sometimes the voices in my head get really annoying when they come out with the truth.
I'm watching Rich to see if the voices went in his head too.
Oh, Rich has got a pipeline to the voices in my head. I'm surprised when I type a word, he doesn't see it in neon letters in front of him. We are quite simpatico, Rich and I, as far as our senses of humor and our background.
We are broken in
literary
functionality.
There are times when it seems like we're the Korskin brothers. I'll think of something and you'll laugh. And if that damn bird shits on my shoulders again, I'll kill it. Arr.
And it usually a lot of times has me with saying something that Dan wants to respond and shouldn't. And Rich is thinking that he knows exactly what Dan wants to say. And I'm sitting here going, oh, shucks. Oh my God, I watched my mouth. Mark this down. I said shucks.
That's a first. I'm putting that on the calendar. 11:46 p.m. on the 27th. Dawn self-edited.
I did.
The world is ending soon. These are signs of the last times.
I told you I was excited about getting my planner. Look at it. I'm less irritable or something.
Something.
Something. Exactly, Donna. Well, Ted gets done with work here pretty soon, so once he gets home, I'm gonna to log off. He's not too happy about working seconds tonight. I don't blame him. So
Hey,
Some
everything
kind of suck.
happens. Yeah. Oh, I got maybe a tenth of the yard work and home repairs done in the last 2 weeks that I've wanted to get done, but it was the important tenth. So if I don't goof off too much over the weekend, I might be able to raise that average to half. Don't give me that. Don't give me that. Uh, like that'll happen. I said, don't give me that. This is what makes me writing something so much fun for me because I don't know what I'm going to say next. I really don't. It's not like I sit and compose this stuff. It just kind of is born like Aphrodite from Zeus's forehead or whichever nymph that was. I don't know.
Athena.
Athena, thank you. Goddess of wisdom. No wonder I'm not familiar.
Aphrodite was sea foam from Poseidon.
Okay. You can tell I haven't been studying Greek mythology for a long, long time. Welcome back, Donna.
but I know where you can read a really good book about Medusa and finding love. Hashtag always promote.
So, how I found out about the Aphrodite myth was actually from Baron Munchausen.
Oh, okay.
And Uma Thurman.
Okay. Oh, what was the painting? What was the painting? Birth of Venus. Who did the painting? Botticelli? Botticelli? I have absolutely no grasp of how to pronounce Italian.
Botticelli sounds right.
Yeah, the C is often pronounced like a CH.
We had a running joke in the sci-fi club at University of Georgia back in the 70s when I was in college, and it involved bivalves, clams, in other words. And one of the very talented lady artists that we knew did a sketch of Birth of Venus standing in a bivalve with evil little eyes in the background and called it the sudden demise of Venus. Clap! Bye-bye, girl. And that was one of those things that just it struck all of us as so absurd and fitting at the same time. But there were a whole string of jokes about a giant clam with evil eyes jumping at people. We probably stole that from Arlo Guthrie, actually.
Okay, so what gets me slapped a lot? So I play a lot of online games, and of course you've got griefers who will engage in PvP and they'll kill you, and then they'll sit there and they'll keep crouching over your character's corpse, and it's called teabagging.
Yes.
So I turned to Misty. I'm like, so if it was a woman doing this, would this be a clam dip? Or a taco dip?
Did you ask the person doing this in the chat if that's what they were doing?
No, I just turned to Misty, who was sitting next to me at the time. Well, actually, at the time, she would have been sitting that direction. I don't remember what game it was, but I'm like, I'm really getting sick of this teabagging stuff. And she's like, teabagging? So I had to explain teabagging. And then I'm like, so if a woman did it, would it be a clam dip or would it be a taco dip? Or and she's just like, Richard. So I'm
why do we always?
David, but I got a Richard.
Why do we always inflict these things on the people that we love the most?
They ask for it
because
by loving us. No, that's not a good excuse.
Because they're around the most and they get to see the whole movie, not just the highlights.
Mm-hmm.
And the behind the scenes.
Misty's like, the people on the train like you so much and blah, blah, blah. And they couldn't stop. Why do I see, the angry person? I'm like, they see me as I just get out of work. They see me for half an hour on the train where I'm able to hold it in. You see me after the rest of the commute, plus the day that I had, plus the drive. So you see me at, maximum toxicity. You get everything. They get the highlights.
She gets the whole salad bar.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got the 24-hour, admission to the show. They've got the 30-minute version.
As for asking the person why they were doing this, if it's World of Warcraft is broken into two factions, the Horde and the Alliance. And they have done such a realistic twist on the game that the two factions cannot speak to each other. If you're in a place where one of the other faction is and you can see the chat, it's just a bunch of letters.
It's a different language, yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you're a cryptographer, you wanted to take the time, you could probably figure it out. But yeah, you can't whisper the opposite side. You can't talk.
Although that should be changing here because that would make the cross-faction raiding and cross-faction dungeons a lot more difficult.
Mm-hmm. We'll see what they do. But mostly it's because the guy killing you is from the other faction and is a what's his ass? It's bored.
You didn't realize, Rich, till tonight that I played Star Wars: The Old Republic?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I think Carl played that once.
I was told nobody plays it anymore, but I enjoy it. So
my brother-in-law still plays it once in a while. I was playing it for a while before Dad passed. Had to step away for a little bit after Dad passed to take care of stuff. And then when I tried to step back in, I'm like, my characters are out of the guild. You know what? Screw this game. I'll go back to World of Warcraft.
Hey.
Oh, come and join my guilds. And when I say my guilds, they're my guilds because everybody else has quit. So guess what? They're my guilds.
Yeah.
I've been promoted enough.
So remember that accident scene I had shown on Stupid O'Clock?
Yes.
Yeah,
Has it gotten worse?
They're still doing cleanup.
That must have been a whole lot more major than they let on to start with.
Yeah, because it said 3 hours, and that was about 5 hours ago originally. But if you can add that in, that's the current view from NDOT's camera.
They're still sitting
I
in
am
the same place, except for the traffic that is slowly passing by. The emergency vehicles are still in the same place.
Yep. And
so glad I do not have to go into work.
they did reopen the ramp lane because people have been coming down this ramp lane here. So
Any clues to what happened?
I don't know what exactly happened other than semi versus the attenuator at the end of a wall, and the attenuator won handily.
Well, hopefully the semi driver is not too badly injured. And I would speculate and say somebody in a non semi vehicle kind of made them choose the path of least destruction
Hmm.
and hit the attenuator rather than roll over a couple of cars. But that would just be guesswork on my part because I've been exposed to interstate traffic for a long time.
And we had the one SUV last year that hit the attenuator on the wall near Calumet Avenue that hit it at such a high rate of speed that it flipped up into the air and landed on top of the semi cab.
You got to be mortally flying to do that.
Hmm.
Uh,
I think they said they estimated her doing about $110.
wouldn't surprise me at all. I would love to see the official determination of the speed the kid that rear-ended us back in 2007, because he not only caved in the back half of our Toyota,
Hmm.
but went off the side of the road, took 6 or 8 feet out of the middle of a telephone pole without breaking the wires, and then plowed up another 20 to 30 yards after the front end had gone out from under his little Pontiac Sunbird. And to my mind, he was going just about warp 2.
I was going to say, I think the official speed on that would be Mach fuck.
Yes, and he was charged with following too close.
No.
Yes.
Hmm.
Insurance company read the police report. My insurance company read the police report. Goes, cops, kid. Definitely, either state patrol, GBI, local police. He was,
Or judge's kid or grandkid.
yeah. And he actually reported the accident to his insurance company as he hit a telephone pole.
He forgot about the car that he hit also.
He forgot about the car that he spun 3 times around and backwards into the ditch on that side of the road, and the 6 months out of work that I spent in the night in the hospital that I spent having CAT scans over and over again to make sure that I wasn't more. They were amazed that I was not more seriously injured. I had a broken collarbone. And then the nurse put the sling on my arm upside down, which my wife, the former nurse, only noticed once we got home. And I was complaining about the damn thing being awkward. She's going, rookie, she put it on upside. It's supposed to go this way. We got home. Our keys were still in the car. Fortunately, we had left a window unlocked. So my 80-year-old dad had to climb through a window to unlock the front door. Because I sure couldn't do it.
Oh, come on, you're Super Dan.
Not on that pain level. I'm not. I'm more of a whiny bowl of warm lime gelatin. And I'm not ashamed of it because I have seldom felt that kind of pain in my lifetime. Maybe twice before, and those were also traffic-related incidents where I was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
What's funny is that when we got into our accident in October, I was actually more sore overall Tuesday than I was at the accident, because the accident I was pretty much just my neck and spine hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And Tuesday I was like, okay, my hip hurts, my knee hurts, I have a scratch on my leg, my neck hurts, my thoracic hurts, on my lower back. I'm like, Jesus, I think I was in more pain from that than the car accident.
That's totally normal because your adrenaline is pumping the day of the accident and taking over, and once that's gone, then you realize, oh, yeah, this has been involved too.
Mm-hmm. Basically, Lindsay thought I was dead at the scene. We had just gone grocery shopping when the kid hit us. I got hit in the back of the head by canned goods. Imagine the speed a can of pinto beans or whatever it was being suddenly accelerated by an impact from a high-speed vehicle, smacking me upside the back of the head, and
that whole thing of the humor and pain that you can write up. How Rich and I were talking earlier.
I see the humor in it. I really do. But she serious. She thought I was dead, and she dragged me out of the car because she thought it was going to catch on fire like something from Dukes of Hazzard or whatever, or some of the old movie serials. And I wake up in the ambulance, and they're trying to check my wife for injuries. And she's telling them in no uncertain terms, no, they are not going to cut her blue jeans off because she had just bought those and they fit. I'm going, okay, she's all right. Which universe am I in this time? So I went from unconscious to sarcasm in about 3 seconds, which is, on a par for me. And got to the hospital. They were amazed that I only had a broken collarbone. They thought, well, the airbags didn't go off. They thought I had crushed my ribs on the steering wheel. No, the seatbelt worked. It just broke my collarbone because against the seatbelt. Lindsay got checked out a couple of times. I think they only gave her one MRI to make sure that she didn't have whiplash. They were just so astounded that I was not more injured than I appeared that they kept checking me over and over again. And I'm going, obviously, you are not familiar with the miracle that is Papa Dan. So, sorry, did the butterfly throb? Did the butterfly throb there? Sorry.
He thought he bruised my butterfly for a second.
Well,
Donna's thinking about this.
the funny thing was they
It's
kept trying. I had just bought a 12-pack of beer, and it came flying through the windshield, along with all the $120 worth of groceries, and some of the cans had burst open sideways. None of them had been popped open. And the cops are going, "Hey, it's a easy DUI here. Let's let the cops kid go. We're going to get this one." I had blood tests. I had breathalyzer tests. I had all kind of tests. 0.0. I had not been drinking.
I'm surprised they didn't make you do a field sobriety test in some way, shape, or form.
Well, I was in the ambulance strapped to the gurney at the time, so they couldn't.
Well, that was the whole some way, shape, or form that they wouldn't try to do that. You know.
So I had told the nurse that was getting me ready for the MRI, hey, I still have my fanny pack on. Be careful. There's a firearm in there. It's not going to go off if it gets dropped, because I don't keep around in the chamber, but I don't want you to get surprised. She goes, "Oh, well, that's fine. I'll take it and put it in the vault." So she did. The cop that went with us that was so desperate to write me up for a DUI was so disappointed that I tested 0.0 on every test they gave me. And then I'm on crutches. I'm going to the nurse's station to the vault to reclaim my fanny pack. And he's standing there all chest puffed out and everything. "I got you on the firearm, George." They gave me my fanny pack. I pulled out my wallet. I pulled out my concealed carry permit, signed by his boss. He deflated like a balloon that had suddenly decided that eating a cactus was a good thing. He couldn't get me on anything, and he had wasted almost 16 hours trying to get me on something. I drove carefully for the next 2 years, believe me, not because of the traffic accident, just because I'm aware of vindictive cops. So,
Oh, I gotta go.
okay.
Hold on, I gotta go open the door first because the door is locked, and then I'll come back in the bedroom and go.
Innuendo and out the door.
You're funny. So, okay, well, hold on. I'm coming back to say bye. Okay, bye, everybody.
See you, Dawn.
Bye.
Dawn.
Bye.
See you Saturday, I hope. So, well, tomorrow night, too.
Tomorrow night.
And hello, Nita. Sorry, I was busy running my mouth, so I didn't see you come in.
Oh, didn't see that. How's she doing?
I think he's home.
Oh,
I think
I'll be
someone was
sleeping.
saying on Doc Blacklock or Blaylock, I was watching his afternoon coffee shop show the other day. I think someone said that he was coming home or had come home. So
Yeah, they'll be doing chemo. They figured out which way to go,
okay.
and things are looking up a bit.
Well, that's always good.
So I think I might have gotten the server set up. It's not throwing an error.
That's good.
That's
I
always a
also
good
don't know
sign.
where I can view my live stream at.
Oh.
But I'm monitoring the server stats, and it's showing that the server's getting usage right now. So
Something's being recorded. Hopefully, it's not the traffic stream.
Yeah. No, I added since guests can do streams to their own stuff, I threw in the information for the RTMP server, and it's got a green check mark and says I'm live.
Hey,
So
you'll just have to wait till the show is over so you can go and review the footage.
well, I don't have it set to actually record. It's just streaming it. Because the plan I started with, it's $5 a month.
Yeah.
For the service, and it's only 40 gigs of storage.
Ooh, we could use that up in about an hour.
Well, I mean,
hey, when Joe Dog started Stupid O'Clock, and we had an after show that was not yet to become Last Man Standing, it didn't take more than about 3 shows before we had used up every hour he was allotted on StreamYard. Contrary to popular belief, I don't often talk like 6 hours in a monologue, but apparently you get me and John and Joe Dog and I don't remember who else. Oh, Heather and Chris.
Skunk.
And Skunk. Yeah, you get the bunch of us together. There are some stories told, and they take up quite a bit of storage space. So, let's see. Oh, almost hour and 15 minutes in, and maybe I should give somebody else a chance to talk. I don't know. Foreign concept to my mind, but I'll run with it.
I'm actually, I think I might be done with stuff for tonight, which
wow,
would be nice.
Yeah, give you time to relax and decompress.
Because I had far too many. I'm actually surprised I didn't get kicked off the stream with all the tabs I had open.
Well, it doesn't surprise me because usually you get so many irons in the fire. It's going to have to be a big fire to keep them all hot.
Yeah, I had a bunch of different pages from Google opened up on various search terms and using the same terms but in different orders and
Yeah, I have found that it's not what question you ask on Google, it's how you word the question.
Mm-hmm.
That's search engines in general.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have to teach a class on that at the firm on occasion. How to search smarter, not harder.
Okay, you start off with class. There was once this thing called Alta Vista that was easy, and then Google came along and stuff got harder. So, I used to wear out Alta Vista all the time.
Good old Excite.com.
Good old-fashioned web crawler.
Ask Jeeves.
That's going back there some.
Mm-hmm.
My first vanity search, so searching on my name, kept bringing up stuff dealing with the Titanic.
Really?
Apparently, there were 8 people with the spelling of my last name on the Titanic. 4 of them perished. When the Titanic exhibit was in Chicago, and they were actually handing out tickets for you to hold on to, and then at the end, you get to see whether your person lived or died. I I made a pact with everyone that was in the group that I went through with. I'm like, if anyone gets a ticket with my last name, we are trading. That is a souvenir coming home with me.
Mm.
Nobody got the ticket, so
Ah.
but yeah, all 4 male. No, I take it back. The 4 that perished were all male, but 3 of the survivors were female, and 1, I believe, was a young male.
Women and children first.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them related to me.
And Donna, you are being snuck up on.
There's a cat over your shoulder.
Oh, he's back there quite a bit.
It's Calvin.
A while ago when I muted, I muted because I didn't want witnesses. He was up on that bookcase over there.
Ah,
I well understand, yes. I have raised enough cats. I have raised quite enough cats.
Well, for some reason, he doesn't listen when Daddy says, get off the table or get off that or something. But when Mommy says, get your off of there, he knows he needs to get down.
No more Iggy if I've been misbehaved.
Oh, yeah, he's decided he likes egg too. But he'll eat either kind. She doesn't like fresh eggs.
Really?
Yeah. Because when we watch April's Cat and Chickens, we get to keep the eggs from that week. And she's like, I don't know what this crap you're feeding me is, but it's not my eggy. After they went back to the store-bought eggs, and she's like, oh yeah, this is the good stuff. Now him, typical boy, eats anything.
She wants them pasteurized.
Evidently. And it's funny because, she's had to have had bird eggs when she was outside. She was outside for a year. I don't know, maybe that's why she doesn't like fresh eggs.
Oh.
And neither one of them likes turkey. And it's only the yolk that I give them. Neither one of them likes turkey yolk.
Well,
goose eggs are very good in cake.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not bad scrambled. I was too chicken to try it over medium.
We'll take your word for it about cake, but I am well familiar with scrambled. It's gonna make Joe. It's gonna make Nick Tucker go on about the old gods of Appalachia again. But yeah, I grew up with more than just chicken eggs back in the Smoky Mountains. So yeah, I'm glad I was able to avoid some of the other, shall we say, stereotypical foodstuffs. There were a few things that my family refused to cook, but the neighbors didn't.
What? No possum pie?
No possums, no raccoons. And I'm going, hey, raccoons have hands. I'm not going to eat one. And possums are just, by report, incredibly greasy. So I wouldn't have liked that to start with. And I'm not saying I was a picky eater, but no one who has consumed as much pheasant and quail as I have in my childhood could be classed as picky. Bottomless pit was more what I heard. It's amazing. I've been able to keep my girlish figure for this long.
Oh, you know what else is greasy is groundhog.
That I wouldn't know. That's one of the other things that my family drew a line at.
Oh,
Um,
my dad loved groundhog. When we lived on, when Carl and I were first married, he lived on 126. Had a farmer next door, and he had a groundhog that would. There was a pasture between us, and he had a groundhog that would run around the pasture. Well, my dad spotted it one time. It was huge. It must have weighed 30 pounds. I mean, it was huge. And my dad's like, oh, that makes some good eating. And Carl was just like, what? You don't eat? Oh, yeah, you do. It's a little bit greasy, but if you cook it just right. Carl looks at me and says he's kidding. And then I'm like, have you ever heard my father kid about something to eat? No. Say hi to Uncle Dan.
hello.
Someone's a happy kitty.
Mm-hmm. Somebody's a very happy kitty.
Oh, I can hear that purr over the radio.
Settle down. There we go.
Calvin, behave.
Let's see, I'm behaving. I'm cuddling.
Yeah, everything you do is behavior. Yes, I've used that excuse before myself. Um,
Yeah.
I will say that as a child, I was quite fond of stewed rabbit and dumplings. If one of my grandmothers was cooking it, I don't know what they did, but it was very good. Although now that I'm older, I have come to realize that there's either enzymes or something in rabbit that is not conducive to humans getting the most food value out of them. So if you've got a diet rich in rabbit and corn, you could wind up starving to death no matter how much you eat, which is weird. But
Well,
humans
also
are
anything else
relativists.
really high in cellulose. Anything really high in cellulose, your body's not going to process it right.
Hmm, that explains celery. Although celery with the channel stuffed with pimento cheese was one of my favorite childhood snacks.
Cream cheese for us for the holidays, but good old peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, never tried
Yep.
that,
Oh yeah.
especially on celery.
Now,
Okay, I could see how it could work.
as a child in school, one of the snacks that the teachers would make for us every once in a while, they used to call ants on a log, and it was celery with peanut butter in the channel and then raisins in the peanut butter.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Um, oh, you can tell I'm doing a deep dive back into the memory here.
Uh-oh.
Those those memory banks have not been erased. They've just been Restricted access? Yes. I remember a time when we planted a garden out behind my paternal grandmother's house, and my mother and I were given the task of planting pickle beets, or just beets. They weren't yet pickled. Um, and we had about a pound of beet seeds, and we made the mistake of putting them all in one row across the entire garden. And Dad said, "No, that should have been about four." Well, not only did the beets grow, they grew really, really well. And there was jars of canned pickle beets for years from that one crop. And Mom and I just kind of looked at each other when the fruits of our harvest were apparent and go, well, maybe this is the right way to do it. I don't know, Mom. What about you? She go, I don't know. I don't care about beets. Oh, now I do remember here, about 3 miles that away, on the family farm, Dad always planted a garden that was enough for probably uh, 30 or 40 people rather than the five that the family consisted of. So they were always taking stuff to work to give away to keep it from spoiling, to keep from having to throw it away. And there were times when we were sitting there on the carport, uh, shucking corn for Mom to be able to get it off the cob and can it. And there would be uh, the cats and the dogs pretty much arguing which one of them was going to eat that corn cob, and there would be flies around, and it was really kind of annoying with the amount. And then the hornets came out and started doing acrobatics, aerial acrobatics, catching the flies in midair, upside down, and taking them off to the hornet's nest. And I'm going, I know it hurts when I get stung, but I kind of like hornets if they're going to catch flies. Um, it was one of those things where it was educational in the ways of wildlife. A cat would stare down and threaten a dog 8 times its size over a corn cob and flies or hornet food. Uh, okay.
Sweet one,
So I just got confirmation it's working.
Oh, good.
I figured out how to view the stream through VLC Media Player,
Uh-huh.
and that is actually what I have shared through
Oh.
StreamYard right now. And it doesn't seem to be very much of a delay.
No.
Okay, maybe it has a little bit of a delay.
No, it's just going into infinite recursion here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay.
Ooh, that may have crashed the server doing that. Oops. Whoopsie.
Well,
Hey.
no, you just have to not put that on the live stream
Yeah.
as a display of the live stream. which went into infinite recursion. So, oh,
Yeah, tunneling into a tunnel to a different tunnel to tunnel into the tunnel, which just gets you back to the tunnel that you started from the first place, causes a lot of lag.
well, I'm not sure it's lag, but it's more like sensory overload for the server.
That'll be fine.
We don't see any flames. Everything's good.
Exactly.
Yeah, really.
People where the server's located might see some flames, but we don't see any flames.
Yeah, never mind that dust cloud on the horizon.
So,
Oh, okay.
my brain is starting to go through other things now, going, how can I get that to show up on indiecd.org?
Dink, dink, dink,
Mhm.
dink, dink, dink.
What's this do?
It breaks stuff. Let's do it again. Typical child. I'm sorry. I promise I will never grow up. I'm only adult when I'm pretending. I will never grow up.
You're a Toys R Us kid?
I am a creative plaything, which predates Toys R Us.
You said plaything, and Donna's eyes lit up.
As they often do.
Ah, memories.
That was for you, Donna.
Thank you, Rich.
I don't remember what teddy bear I got that badge off of, but I wish I knew where it went. I wore it to several conventions, and people seemed to think it was quite appropriate at the time. Of course, I was a teenager. But I don't know where that badge went. I really don't. I think one of my previous wives probably confiscated it for.
Being
Lord
as
only
tired
knows.
as I am, I misheard the word Teddy.
Yeah.
So that made that just that much.
That one's on you, Rich. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
No, that one's on the lack of sleep I've been having lately, and listening to someone with a southern dialect.
Well, I would say that I do have that effect on people, but usually not of the male persuasion. Because I'm not that persuasive.
Rar.
Roar. I still have to find you those sound bites, Joe. I haven't had a chance to look today. As soon as I got out of work, I had to run and go do laundry, and I got back in enough time to relax for a few minutes, play World of Warcraft for like half an hour, and then eat dinner, and then come into the show.
Now, Donna, when Carl talks about watching the replay of this tomorrow, please do get that deer in headlights looks again, so that he thinks there's more to this than what meets the eye.
Of course, as soon as he gets to this point, he's going to know that it was all subterfuge.
Yes. And,
Yeah, except I'm usually not up by the time he's watching this.
I might want to leave him a note. Don't watch this. which will make him watch it that much sooner. Oh, I've really got to thank Carl. He's one of the people that do come back time and time again, no matter how ridiculous we get. He is dedicated to watching the entire show all the way through, and he comments and helps the algorithm out. It's like I should care about the algorithm, but
I can totally see that backfiring to the, Carl, you got to watch this. And I can just see him giving that side eye, like, I don't think so. I think you use reverse psychology on me.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. Well, and him being a psychologist.
Well,
Yeah.
although he did compliment me on the little spiel I went on about pattern recognition, about the thing that we were talking about in Stupid O'Clock, where the debris from the rocket launch looked very familiar to people who had seen Andromeda Strain, and I'm just going regular repeated pattern, really oddball outliers, and anyway, he thought it sounded logical and not stupid, so I take that as a compliment. Anytime I don't sound stupid, I'll take that as a compliment.
And that was really something about that. Poor Zach getting all the concrete in his lungs.
Yeah, really.
That's
And
brutal, yeah.
and nowadays, after the pandemic, it's hard to get hold of N95 filters, which would have done him some good. Well, maybe it's not as hard now as it used to be about a year ago, and
Really? They're still everywhere here where you can pick them up.
we still do not have the regular supply that we had been used to at work. I mean, people used to go through like 5 of them a day. And now we're being asked to reuse the same one for a week or so. And I'm going, in 2018, they cost about a quarter of a penny each. And now they are, what, $5 each? From the way y'all act? Don't know. But they're not as prevalent as they should be for the hazards that we have to face on a daily basis as far as inhaled particles are concerned.
Yeah, but who would have thought standing out in the quote fresh air they were in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you would have to worry about breathing in clouds of concrete dust and other particles.
Well, I don't think anybody had any idea how much damage and how much dust this thing would create with almost all the engines going. I doubt anybody had ever done a study on it. And I'm very surprised that there were not some either OSHA or some other health organization mandating particulate collector sensors for future data when this was going on. Working in the factory situation like I do, we've got OSHA stuff everywhere. I mean, mandated this test, that test, another test. So we get used to And there are times when they're doing special studies. People are walking around with sensors strapped to their body
Mm-hmm.
during their daily task to try and figure out which are the areas with the most dust in the factory. And that's the sensors are taken back, the tests are run, the results are disseminated to the workforce. So we know, hey, this is where you really need your mask. This is where it's okay to just wear it at need. And this is a place where it's totally safe. You don't need it. Um, I took a few. I took a few photographs of sunbeams coming through uh, the um,
Skylight.
the skylights. Thank you. That was the word I was searching for. And you could see the dust in the skylights. I'm going, oh, if the special effects people from Star Trek had this back in the 60s, they would have loved this footage. I mean, seriously. So, yeah,
Mhm.
I take a picture of it. It's like a solid bar of light with sparkles, very transporter effect. And then I walked into it and took a picture of the skylight, which was overexposed because I'm using a cell phone camera. It doesn't know, and I have no way of setting the exposure down, or I don't know enough to set the exposure down. That's probably a better way to say it. And there are times, and they're working on trying to reduce these times when something goes wrong and the entire place fills with smoke, and they have attic fans. I mean, 8 feet
Mhm.
across attic fans, 300 horsepower attic fans, trying to pull this smoke out of the building before it can get in people's lungs. But still, before somebody goes and flips them on, because they're not automatic, um, the building fills with smoke from time to time. And this is when something is in one of those uh, emergency situations where something's gone wrong. We're trying to deal with it. We don't know what it is. Don't stop working. I've seen the place um, do lots of things that turned out not to be dangerous that looked really dangerous at the time. But it was just my perception of it.
Mhm.
Um, Turned out to be normal, and it turned out to be desirable because it would help uh, clean some of um, the dust that had settled since the last time everything was thoroughly cleaned. And I got onto him one time about the uh, the fire suppression system because I was up there with a 120-pound air pressure hose trying to clean off the dust and everything off the inside of the roof, and I could see the fire suppression system, and it looked like they had been coated with the phenolic resin from the old formula of the glass. Like, I don't know if these things would work. And I was reassured that yes, they had been tested, so in an emergency, they would still automatically go off. And I had to take their word for it, and until I was there long enough to actually see one of those emergencies happen. And yes, the sprinklers do work. Oh, that was not a good day. Not for health reasons, but for the company had to replace a lot of stuff that got water damage because the sprinklers came on, and in a tiny fire situation, all the sprinklers came on. We're talking about 12 acres worth of sprinklers when it was less than a 500 square foot fire. So, you soak the entire county because somebody had lit a barbecue grill situation. And, they learned, they adapted, they re-engineered stuff, and they learned a lesson from that. It was 1950s preparations for a 1990s situation. So these things, they happen.
Well, better than oversaturate with water than undersaturate with water too.
Yep, the fire was extinguished. It's just there was a lot of stuff got damaged from the other parts of the sprinkler system that shouldn't have triggered, that did because of the one that was needed to set it off. It was, like I said, 1950s engineering, 1990s situation. And from what they re-engineered it to be, I doubt that same thing would happen again. You'd have to seriously, I don't know, hit the sprinkler system with the blades of a forklift trying to reach something up near the roof to set off something like that again. And do that kind of damage to that kind of stuff. Really don't know. Time for another beer. I'm going to step. Give me 3 steps, then I'll be right back. And I do wish somebody else would talk.
Damn it, Dan, you got that stuck in my head now.
It wasn't on purpose.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
So, Joe.
Yes.
The other night, when you were working on the directory, and you told me that you didn't have the description for my book, Old Friends, New Enemies.
Yes.
Now, do I remember right? I copied that and put that into a DM to you on Facebook.
Yes.
You got it, and you put it on that night, right?
Yep.
The next day, Carl is telling me, I've got to get that to Joe so he can get that on the page so it's right. And I'm sitting here going, you watched him put it on last night. I think Carl's getting old and forgetful.
It happens.
Not the green room, not the green room.
Now I gotta figure out how I just broke my site.
Don't tell me that posting the link to the recording screwed up everything that you did.
No, I think one of the plugins I just added in just botched part of it. So we're going to disable that plugin. Deactivate. Because all of
What's funny is...
Go ahead.
What's funny is I don't even have to hit enter to go to the site. As soon as I hit ndcd.org, all of a sudden my browser just slows down before I even do the execute for it to actually go to the site and start to load.
It's in panic mode. Oh no, what am I have to see now?
Yeah, there's that plugin I just installed. Okay, that's all fixed. So we're not
Okay.
using that.
Hey, it's great. You can uninstall it and fix it.
We can delete that one.
I had to go over here.
Yeah, I really need to clean up my. Ooh. I wonder if I can use that to do that now.
How very
Okay.
suggestive.
Yeah.
Well, hello there. Oh, what the hell would I have made that?
Well, we're getting on down to the end of the second hour, so we should wind this up. I know we did promos on Stupid O'Clock. Donna, tell us where we can find your books, and then Joe can tell us where we can find Indie CD, and Rich can tell us where to get off.
Well, indiecd.org has a listing of all my books. They are also available to buy on lulu.com. Some of them are on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, but Lulu pays me more. And if you want to see the good stuff, you have to click the little thing that says show explicit.
Yes. Unless you view it through the indiecd.org site, which it'll just have a nice little 18 plus next to the title.
This is considerate.
Yeah. Well, you know, I never thought I would have to put a parental advisory on the seduction of Lily Monroe. I mean, it's right there in the title. The book is a lady in a 1800s corset. I would think that this book has sex in it would kind of be, you know, apparent, but evidently not.
Some people need to be hit with a clue hammer.
Yeah, evidently. And you can find Aunt Donna on Facebook almost any time. Next.
Indie.org. God, I have not even drank tonight.
You're more
Yeah. indiecd.org to find all the great independent creators, including the fine folks that are on this show. You can watch their live streams through indiecd.org. You can catch the reruns through there. You can also subscribe to their YouTube channels from here. And you can find the links to all their books, their music, and anything else that they have created.
That sounds great. Don't forget Burning is Love and Behind the Code.
Behind the Code, most Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, where I will be working on the indiecd.org website and the various branches that are now coming off of it. Most Wednesday nights, we have The Burning is Love, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, both of which you can find on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch under the Independent Creator Directory pages. The Burning is Love is my wood burning program, or wood burning, not program, well, program, yeah, wood burning stream, where I work on various either commissions or just designs that I find and I like, and I think I can complete in 2 hours.
All right, Richie?
Well, yeah, I guessed, of course, here on LNS and also on Stupid O'Clock. Occasionally, I pop up on Joe's shows as well. And then you can also find me over at R Asplund Jr. On Facebook, doing random ruminations various days of the week. Just rambling and ranting about whatever weird thoughts cross my head.
And it is entertaining, I promise you that. As for myself, I can be found on Facebook, Stupid O'Clock, Last Man Standing, on Michaela's Tidbits and Scribbles, on alternate weeks. I can be found in the comments section on lots and lots and lots of streaming shows. The work that most people know me for is Aphelion Webzine, which is www.aphelion hyphen webzine, webzine.com. And that has been running continuously since 1997. You can find some of my written work there. You can find the professionally published stuff on Amazon. Occasionally, well, no, not anymore because that's out of print. I started to say occasionally Barnes and Noble as well as Amazon, but no, that particular collection of short stories is now out of print. If you buy it, I will not get paid. Not until it comes out in the second edition, which is hopefully coming out in the near future. Um, my music can be found on bandcamp.com. And believe me, I would really love to do some more, but it takes time out from writing fiction. Um, my artwork, there are 3 private galleries in the South, ranging from Texas to Georgia, that have some of my oil paintings in them. I have photographs in my Facebook photographs section. It's not anything I ever got paid for. Well, I did get paid for the original paintings, but it's not. You can look at them free because it's one of those things. Um, I don't think that I could explain how to find the galleries. They're not someplace you can drive to, and the one in Texas, I don't even know where he is. Um, Other than that, um, I'm just this guy who has talked entirely too much tonight. And usually I let everybody else get a word in edgewise, but no, I decided to be Ryan. And Ryan's going to watch this later and go, "Oh, I'm going to get you for that." I have been occasionally interviewed on several other things across social media. I do have a Twitter. I never look at it because, quite frankly, my own is boring and everybody else's is entirely too busy. I don't know why I even signed up for Twitter. Really have no idea. Let's see, anything else? No, we are in the last minute counting down. Our friends are around on Armchair Rocket Science, Stupid O'Clock, here in The Last Man Standing, various social media all over. We have friends that do things like Cryptid Crunch on what is John's channel?
Back of the cereal box.
Back in the cereal box. Thank you. It just totally blanked my mind on that one. I really highly recommend that. I highly recommend Drinking with the Davies on Friday nights. Not every Friday night, but we'll
Every
figure out
other.
every other Friday night. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Tidbits and Scribbles every other Tuesday night.
And Cryptid Crunch, which is every other Sunday.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Drinking with the Davies will be on tomorrow night.
Ooh, yes, I can't miss that. I really can't. I think I've already got it on my watch later list. I think it came up in my YouTube video searches earlier today. So.
And you also have Nevermind the Furthermore Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and the Historical Fencing Guild Friday evening.
Yes, need to publicize Nick Tucker because he does excellent work, not only art but written, and his. I recently got copies of his Simple Sword, Simple Spear, and
The Fighting Axe.
Fighting Axe. Thank you. The man is a living legend.
Quite literally.
And he is an urban legend as well. Just don't call him a cryptid. Right. And here we go.
Well, some of us have figured out what kind of cryptid he really is.
The living legend kind, or the urban legend kind.
Same difference.
And we shall see you Saturday night for Stupid O'Clock and Last Man Standing. For those intelligentsia in the know who have already subscribed to Uncle Carl's Secret Humor Group, the Green Room is tomorrow night. And that's always fun. Although...
Yes, remember that this is
not the Green Room. And
tomorrow is.
Yep. And let me put this bluntly. The Green Room is not for everybody. You cannot be easily offended there. And have a fun time. If you are not easily offended, if you are tolerant of adult humor, if you are really good at what passes for stand-up or in internet, the sit-down comedy, you'd enjoy it. If not,
people complain that you have a rigid device lodged somewhere uncomfortable, you might want to avoid.
Yep.
You might stroke out in the bad way.
I'd probably reword that one, but I'm in editing mode.
You can stroke out in a good way.
Oh yes, there's a very good way to stroke out.
This is not the Green Room. On that note, folks, we're going to call it a night. Thank you very much for being here. I want to thank Dawn for being here as briefly as she was, because she's a delightful lady too. And thank you, Joe Dog McKeel, for giving me a chance to have this forum to talk incessantly and not make sense very often, but have fun. And on that note,
night, everyone.
Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Take a light.
Transmission overload. System will shut down. 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 System will shut down.